Welcome everyone to Already Cancelled. I am Peter. I'm joined by Tara. We talk about TV shows here, and the year is 2022. The name of the show is Babylon 5. This is season 4, episode 10. It's called Racing Mars. So full spoilers for the episode, and I can't believe we're almost halfway through season 4 already. I feel like it's...
We are?
Yeah, it's all 22 episodes. This is episode 10.
Wow.
One more's halfway. So, you know, we're racing through it. We're racing to Mars, apparently, as the title would indicate. This is
I'm surprised they went with this as the title of their episode for this storyline and not the other storyline in the show.
Minbari Mutuals, or Minbari...
Just say it.
Is there a word for sex beginning with M that I'm not thinking of?
They boned the bone.
Minbari...
Bone squared. That would have been the perfect title. Oh, by the way, I really would appreciate it if you were mature during this episode.
Shut your mouth. After the bone joke, you're hitting me with that.
I like Bone Square because I think it works with the, Babylon Square.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of funny stuff in this episode. I think it's fair to say, in both
some very serious stuff too.
In both the Sheridan Delenn side of things, and of course the honeymoon that that Cole.
I hated every single line he had in this. I don't know what was funny about it.
I don't know. Franklin's reactions I thought were amusing at times. No?
I don't know.
Okay.
I was a little bit worried because, 90s TV has a bit of a reputation when it comes to homosexuality. But it wasn't too bad in this.
And to be fair, like, this show has tried to put in positive.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Gay plots or characters here or there. Even if the executives made them kind of only dance around it.
Tone it down a bit, yeah.
But it's not outside the realm of the show so I wasn't worried when they introduced it. It kind of felt like, oh, this is just going to be a stupid thing and they have to pretend and they're going to crack some jokes and that's fine.
Yeah. It would be like if you and Connor had to pretend to be married or something, and you both loathe each other, obviously. So.
Mm-hmm. You're out with me and Connor for that. Yeah. Okay.
Well, yeah, because I guess it could have gone you and Tim, but the idea is, two men.
And Tim's not a man.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Well, I went with you and Connor because you guys hate each other.
Yeah. Well, the joke that I'm trying to lead you to here is that Tim is get more sex appeal, so it was funnier to go with Connor, I suppose, is what I'm trying to get at.
Oh, I don't know if I would agree with that, so.
So Connor has more sex appeal than Tim, is what you're saying.
It's it's hard for me to rank. Exactly.
You just said you wouldn't agree with that, but that which in turn implies the opposite.
I don't like these questions.
Okay, let's move on. Let's start with so Sheridan is forced to take a day or two off. Ivanova comes in and says, right, I'm relieving you, piss it off. You're not taking any time off in 9 months. And in that time, you have taken Babylon 5 away from Earth, you have died and came back. you have done a number of other things. And with that time, he ends up watching a little bit of a repeat of the news item that we saw a couple of episodes ago. And what was interesting here is I thought this kind of actually answered something you brought up in the review of that episode. Mm-hmm. You were saying, why are they even getting ISN? I thought everything was cut off. And this made it very clear that they have cut off every other channel. They're just letting ISN go through because it's the propaganda channel and they want that playing in Babylon 5.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. It's
even Cinemax has been... You can't get Cinemax.
I did love that. I love that he went through movies, sports, entertainment, and he thought, well, if there's nothing else working, if there's porn on, I'll watch the porn. And he goes to the adult channel, and it's like, no, even that's cut off. He's like, damn it. But Sheridan's a nice man, though, so that was the last resort.
Mm-hmm.
Although, it wasn't the last resort. The last resort was the propaganda channel.
I do think, even I would watch Cinemax over propaganda news.
Yeah, but he sees the Garibaldi interview though is the important part, and this prompts him to go and try to speak to Garibaldi, and he gets very heated very quickly, as does Garibaldi. And I think this is the episode where I think definitively it does feel like what Garibaldi's doing, because he's acting so extremely now. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's still saying things like he doesn't want to hurt Sheridan when he's talking.
He's just full of rage.
Yeah, but he's getting angry very quickly. I think the moment later on when Sheridan tries to come back and apologize for getting heated the first time, and this woman comes up and starts praising Sheridan like he's Jesus. Sheridan clearly is not buying into it or playing into the role. He's just trying to tell her to go away, and he's trying to be nice. And Garibaldi just jumps to, "Oh, so you like this attention, do you? You think you're the second?" And he's like, "No, you're legitimately just seeing things that aren't there now." Like, and that scene I think confirms it to us. So I'm going to call it and say that this is part of the programming that they've done to him. But I mean, maybe I'll be wrong, but that's what it feels like right now.
It's very uncharacteristic of him.
Yeah. So he works with it. I did laugh though, because see when they first have their first argument, and then like the camera sort of focuses in on like this group of characters in black in the back. I was like, oh, who are these fancy goths that are watching the fight?
Yeah,
and they're not actually
like a band or something in the background.
Yeah, they're not actually that gothy when they come and talk to him afterwards. But the first time it cuts to them in the background, like I think one of them's got a cross on, and they're all wearing black, so it looked like a 90s rock band or something. Yeah.
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 We need a new drummer.
Yeah, Ivanova threw the last guy out the airlock. She's very prone to doing that.
Checks out.
Yeah. So no, but the other thing, of course, is that Delenn hears that Sheridan's got some time off. So she comes like, "Oh, I heard you have some time off, Sheridan. Maybe it's time. It's a perfect day then to do another one of our rituals and lead up to the wedding." And Sheridan gets very brutally honest and is like, "Delenn, how many of these rituals are there?" Because and I thought she was making fun of him when she said there's 47 left, because I thought she was going to be like, "I'm only kidding, this is the last one. It's all right, it's not that many." But instead she never actually says "lol, kidding," and I'm like, wait,
no,
she's serious?
Actually, there's 50.
There's actually 50. There's actually 50 more ceremonies. Although I love that he's like really, and he gets nice about it. He's like, okay, what's this one? I'm opting in. Let's do it. But I love it at first. He's like, oh no, not another ritual. And then she says what it is, and the way she describes it, if I recall correctly, is finding each other's pleasure centers. And his eyes just light up like, oh, this one sounds fun. I can get into this one.
Especially, he's been having such a bad day.
Oh yeah, he's having a long day. But by the time he goes there later,
I think he got punched in the face. Before this scene, and I think he is slightly agitated with Delenn and these rituals, but he calms down. He's like, okay, what is it?
Oh, okay, all right, okay. We're
Unless you could think of something else you'd rather be doing.
No. I think we can do this ritual. This is you want to do this, Delenn? I'll be there for you.
For the sake of culture and peace among our worlds. Taking one for the team.
Which is why I found it hilarious when he walked into her quarters.
And she's got a choir.
And yeah, there's like 10 Minbari, including Lanier, standing there. And he's like, wait, what's going on? I thought we were going to be alone. He's like, oh no, like my peers like stand outside and make sure we don't go too far. And Sheridan naturally is like, I can't do it with people listening to us. Like,
no, can't do this.
Yeah, and I think what made this really funny, one is Lanier sort of glaring at him like, you better be good to her. And then
like it's one thing to have like strangers, but like Lanier.
Yeah, if anything, this should be like a court, like jury duty. It should be like a group of randomers who you don't know, so it's not awkward later. But the thing that made me really funny to me is that when she sort of says no, come on, and she pulls him into the bedroom, she does sort of like grab his hand and lead him into the bedroom with a smile, and like a really natural kind of like, no, we're about to have sex and I'm horny, come on, let's go do this. Like she's like, she plays it completely like a normal.
Yeah, this is all normal.
Yeah,
so.
she plays it like any other character would in like we're going to have sex scene and anything else, which made it funny to me that he's like terrified because there's this group of Minbari just standing there like, we will be listening.
Well, I think they closed the door, so still, there's enough privacy.
Well, they closed the door, but they can still hear. I mean, as pointed out.
The point is that they can still hear it, yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't want to be listened to by a group of my peers on the other side. That's awkward and strange.
Yeah. Well,
And
I mean, with enough alcohol, maybe.
well, I don't drink, so I don't have that crutch to fall on. Okay. Then of course, Sheridan goes into the elevator afterwards, and even
Damn
before
elevators.
even before we get to the lines, I was just sort of thinking how awkward it is that him and Lanier get into the elevator together, because they were both at the same place, like in this experience, and it's just this awkward silence until Lanier just starts shaking his head and he's like, "Woohoo!" Woohoo! Who says woohoo during sex?
Maybe they didn't actually have sex. Maybe they just watched Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Woo!
I mean, woohoo is what you say when you're on a roller coaster, which maybe just is a big compliment to Delen's sexual skills. I don't know, but
I mean, you know, his wife's been gone a long time, and then she turned out to be evil, and then you know, they've been in this will they won't they for 3 years. It's a lot, you know, it's a lot of pent up energy, and maybe woohoo is the appropriate response.
So, you know, it's funny to me that, you know, and obviously this is not really a done thing by most people anymore, but the traditional sort of religious version of like when you have sex in marriage is, you know, it's after you're married, it's the night of the wedding, right? That's the traditional thing to do. And I love that the Minbari have like a set date that's before the wedding. No, you don't have sex till this date, but you do it on this ritual, and there's an audience, and this is part of the process. That's really funny to me.
We had a commenter like years ago, I want to say, or like, well, however long we've been doing this ago, say that that the Minbari sexual like relations or whatever traditions are very weird, and that did stick out to me. Like, oh, I guess we are going to see something one day, or hear about it or something.
Yes.
But that has been burned in my memory. Like, oh man.
Yeah, I'm impressed you remember a comment that old, because I certainly don't.
Well, it just stuck out. Like, oh, they know something we don't.
Well, here we are. We've got some of this stuff going on. So it's all good fun and advancing their relationship, and then you've got the Garibaldi stuff, which is advancing his kind of potential helping this group stage like a revolution or uprising against Babylon 5. So I mean, it's in a lot of ways it's a very much a setup episode for a lot of things, but it's a fairly entertaining setup episode, I think, between these plots. So that stuff's neat. Elsewhere in the station, what part of Ivanova's duties while she's in charge for a few days is they're not getting supplies from Earth anymore, so they're turning to the black market. And they've got like four of the sort of the leaders of the black market on the station who smuggle stuff in. And she's like, look, stop smuggling in weapons and other stuff you're not meant to have. Start bringing in proper stuff that we want, and we'll, like, you know, keep your ships in good shape. We'll upgrade them. You'll have our protection. We'll send out fighter squads with you to, you know, give you escorts.
Right.
So.
Yeah, because the deal is like if they smuggled stuff around, it would just be, you know, a night in the brig or something. But now it's like the death penalty if they're caught bringing anything to Babylon 5.
Yeah, not on Babylon 5 itself, but if the Earth forces catch them doing it, it's just like life in prison or death penalty or something. Yeah. So yeah, pretty serious stuff. But they're trying to convince. I do like the idea though of like incorporating this like sort of. Because right from the start of the show, we've not necessarily seen these specific characters, but we've seen the black market, we've seen the praying mantis alien and stuff.
Oh, I miss Mantis, and I'm so glad you brought him up.
But, you know, it's been such a part of the show that the station does have this functioning black market, and I kind of like the idea that now they're turning to it to rely on it as part of the system.
Which have been so great, since it's been so long that we've seen him, that she's like, don't worry, I got a guy. And then she puts the mask on, and then she goes to the underground, and we see the Mantis again.
That would be good.
See Zorak. I don't remember his name, but I like Zorak.
And then of course we have the Mars plot, which is your favorite, Cole, with Franklin. Do you know what I actually really liked? Well, obviously there was the humorous stuff at the start with the I Spy, and you know, it
hilarious.
You know, Joe, this is a really silly thing that I liked, but I really love. So the guy that they're eventually there to meet shows up. Although at first he just pretends he's like I don't know, some huckster who's trying to sell them like food, and I love this like effect that they've got here, where it's like the packet of like a Pop-Tart he's holding, right? It's like a little just like, you know, foil packet, but they've found a way to have it consistently have steam coming out of it as if there's really hot food inside it, and I just thought that looked really funny, but in a good way.
Yeah, no, it's neat. It reminded me of like a MRE, but you can get MREs that actually are hot food, but it's the heated pack is separate. So you like activate it for heat, and then you use the other food with it on top of it to heat it up.
Yeah, so I don't know.
But it's a more advanced version of that.
Yeah, but it's like he just opens it and it's like, oh, it's like beef and potatoes, I think he says at one point, isn't it? And it's like, I mean, it doesn't look, there's a lot in it. Is it like Hermione's bag from Harry Potter? Is it just like a bottomless pit and there's just more of it?
Maybe.
I hate that I made the Harry Potter reference, but it's the only thing that I can...
Yeah, I actually don't even remember that. I've seen all those films.
Yeah, I remember the bag. I remember the invisibility cloak and the bag that's never ending. That's what I remember. I remember those two things.
I don't remember that bag. I mean, I would think of like Mary Poppins because she has a bag that's... She could pull anything out of it.
Yeah, but I haven't seen Mary Poppins since I was in single digits, whereas Harry Potter, I saw them in my like early 20s, so that's closer. Once was enough, though.
I guess they just didn't stick with me, the Potters.
Didn't stick with me either. I remember this specific thing. So I can remember much else.
Music's good.
I'm not a Harry Potter guy. What can I say? Which shouldn't surprise anyone because it's all wizards and magic bullshit.
Yep.
What? What's that tone for?
Just it's so far away from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
No. See, if you skew more towards horror, with vampires and werewolves and stuff like that,
witches and magic.
There are witches and magic. That is true. Yes. But it's skewed to horror, you see. It's skewed to... Shut up! The point is shut up.
You're British. It's in your nature.
Oh, dear. You're a wizard, Harry. I remember that, but that's less because I remember it in the movie, more just because it was a meme. Where you replace the word wizard with anything else. And it's funny.
Unlike this review.
This review's great.
Unlike Marcus Cole.
There you go, that's better. That's better. There's so much like energy coming off you when you like get kind of catty like that, and you're like I'm going to shit and coal for a minute. You radiate this like vitriol.
Well, we're also recording during the daytime, so I just have more energy now.
That's true. Yes. So they get to Mars. I thought it was just a simple little thing, but I enjoyed how they were lit when they were in like the the little like cart thing that they ride on, right? Which we see in the station as well. But the harsh like Mars lighting they had, so that it did look different. I thought that was a nice little touch where it really felt like they were on a different planet.
Yeah.
But the most interesting thing about this, though, before they get to like the other people, is that people in Mars and Earth, like they vaguely heard there was some sort of war.
Yeah,
but
this was a surprise that they didn't really know what was happening out there. And this guy's like a messenger. Like he goes and finds people, so he deals with outsiders. So you think he would have heard something?
Yeah, it kind of sounds like. Whether it's because Earth media has done such a good job of like not broadcasting and like hiding it or whatever, but it's not that well known back here. So Franklin and Cole have been expected to be like greeted as war heroes, and they're like just like
war? There was a war? We don't care about what aliens do with other aliens. Like, well, we won.
Which to be fair,
good.
I think is kind of an intentional sentiment. Like if you think about like like the West's view on like a war between two countries in the Middle East, for example.
Oh yeah, I definitely thought about that when I was watching this.
Yeah, so there's definitely like a political little statement in there with that. But yeah, so they get to like the leaders who are in this Mars resistance group, and they don't trust Franklin and Cole at first. They want to like verify that it's them because messaging's been sketchy, and they want to make sure it is who it is. And this was a genuine swerve to me. What this plot turned into. I was not expecting this to turn into be connected to the parasite stuff. I was not anticipating this at all. So when the guy who's been kind of nice to them, who, you know, brought them here, sort of starts to lift his arm with a weapon, I'm just kind of like, what's he doing? And like Cole and Franklin are like, hey, look, something's going on, and a fight breaks out, and the guy gets shot, and like it shoots him in the shoulder where the parasite is, and the parasite falls, and the guy like runs away,
and, like slinks away like some sort of, I don't know, jellyfish or something.
Yeah. He runs away and he takes a grenade with him because he knows that the parasite's going to grow back. And you actually see it before he like kills himself. You see like tentacle like legs coming over his shoulder, and it's like, oh
yeah, that was an interesting development though. It was like, you know, it seemed kind of tragic too, the way he was describing it. It's like he always comes back. It just, you can't get rid of it.
Yeah. But I liked a lot, and this doesn't surprise, I think, based on what we saw from Londo in the future, but this idea that he was like putting down hints where he could that something wasn't right, but he couldn't say it. Like, it wouldn't let him just say that something was wrong.
It is odd that he would show him a picture of his daughter and it would have the address on it. Like, oh, I just can't remember it, but you know.
But it's almost like that's the lie to. It's not just that he's hiding the fact that he's sending a message to Franklin when he gives him that. It's also, that's like the lie he's sort of convinced himself, so the parasite doesn't think that he's planting a message or something, you know. Like he's trying to make himself believe that he doesn't remember it, so that he puts it down on this for a message, you know. It's kind of interesting. It's interesting that this idea that like someone who is being controlled but can kind of get out little hints and little messages, sort of
maybe like Garibaldi.
Yeah, maybe Garibaldi is going to like be able to like sneak a message out. Not that he's got a parasite, but thematically it does kind of link up. It's just kind of a similar idea that he's been programmed, you know. This I think basically what we're dealing with thematically now between these two plots is the idea of being controlled by someone, and that we're not in charge of ourselves, and like all the metaphors that come with that. So be curious to see how that plays out. So we know
it's on Mars, at least.
It's on Mars. I mean, I know it's on Centauri Prime,
and
at least one person, so but they do actually study it. You know, we get a bit of like a facehugger style dissection scene where Franklin's like prodding around and they're looking into it.
No juices come out though.
And there's like a hot blonde who's in this team that Franklin's taking a liking to.
Voice. Yeah.
I was getting, do you know what I was getting from her bizarrely? And it's around the same time period, funnily enough, but I was getting real Sonya Blade vibes from her.
Interesting.
That's what I was getting from her, Sonya Blade. You know, she's tough, she's badass, she's sexy.
Definitely badass.
Yeah. And Franklin like saved her when the fighting started earlier, so Cole just sort of like he's like, oh, let's all go have some dinner, and Cole's like, oh, you two go alone, I'll just meet you at the hotel. So you know.
Yeah. And it's interesting that Cole thinks that this is a good time for that kind of stuff, but sure.
Yeah.
Always time for romance. What a romantic guy.
Well, he keeps striking it with Ivanova, so he's happy to see Franklin at least maybe have a chance of some love.
Thank God.
For now. Did you like actually see when they're not being trusted right away and they're searching them and they pull out his pike and like, oh, I've seen one of these before. This is a Minbari weapon. I was like, this pike keeps getting brought up. Like, they keep talking about his pike.
Yeah, I didn't really think much of it. Like, nothing really seemed to come from it.
No, I don't know. Like the phrase "pike envy" is just like living rent free in my head ever since it was uttered. Oh dear. Yeah, that was pretty much it. I did like enjoy the fact that we're getting more into the parasite stuff, and that's going to be something the characters are more aware of. But I think that moment where the guy's like, oh, there was a war on. Like,
yeah, that was like a really big development. Also,
yeah, it's a big development, but it's a really cool, like, unexpected development that it's been kept secret from people on Earth and Mars to the point where,
or just like, yeah, told in a way where it's like, you don't care about this. Yeah. We're gonna use our propaganda channels to make sure that you guys don't take this seriously. Yeah,
even all the characters we meet on Mars, it kind of sounds like they're annoyed that Babylon 5's not been helping with their like problem on Mars, and it's almost like they don't realize that they had this big galactic war, the fate of the entire human race was at stake, and they had no idea, and they're like, why weren't you helping us fight Earth and like resist them? So it's interesting. It's an interesting development, I think. I'm curious to see how it shapes up from here.
Yeah, Babylon 5's got a lot of work to do to gain some trust,
They need
both on Earth and Mars.
Yeah, they need to get their own news out there somehow, or their own messaging.
Ooh, Babcom.
Welcome to Bab
Babcom
TV.
Station. Yeah.
I mean, who's free to host it? Someone. What about Bridge Boy? He's not on the bridge anymore. Give him the TV gig.
Yeah. He's got the right look.
welcome to Bab TV. Today we'll be looking how to cook the perfect.
His boss is still Ivanova, though.
Oh sure, yes.
She's still in charge of the channel.
So somehow she has time to also be like the director of this like live TV broadcast, despite the fact that she's also running the station like all the time.
Hey, maybe we're right. Maybe they do start their own network.
Yes. Today on the Bab 5's morning cooking show, Jakar shows us how to make the perfect Narn
Spoo. Spoo pie.
I was going to try to think of an alien name and then put the word egg at the end
I
of it,
remember
but sure.
Spoo. Spoo is an actual thing in there.
Sure, okay, all right, good stuff.
He likes fresh spoo.
I swear you forget some of the like the weird important things, but then you remember like a comment that was on a season 1 episode, and the food that he was eating in one episode was called spoo.
Spoo is hilarious. And I will never, ever, ever forget Stroke Off. And never forgive
Well,
it.
they used it twice. It was in 2 episodes.
Yeah, I'm glad it died out also. Speaking of dying out, in the opening credits, there's you know how everybody like has a line about something?
Yeah.
Like Jakar's line is the year we took back what was ours or something along those lines, which is very important to
Which makes sense. Yeah.
his character. And Cole's line is the year of pain.
I wonder if it's
Which
like
means something painful can happen to Cole.
or it's like a 50 Shades of Grey thing, and him and Ivanova are into some kinky shit.
Oh no. Because then it would be like, because then Delenn would say that. Or Sheridan. I don't know why you need to push this narrative. I don't like it.
I think.
Anyway, all I'm saying is maybe there's. I noticed the line from Jakar, and went, "Oh, that's good that they got him to say that line because it makes sense for what he's gone through."
I'm sure everyone's line in the opening's probably some way related to.
Yeah, I haven't really
character.
thought about it too much, but maybe Cole's going to go through some shit. Not that I want him to be tortured.
Much.
I just don't want him on the show.
You want him to stroke off, is what you're saying.
Hell yeah. Like if this was season 2 and that was Poochie's line, you know.
That sounds so terrible. I can't. You know that? It just sounds like. Obviously, we get the context of what it means here, but like, it just sounds bad.
Well, yeah, of course it does. That's why the line "stroke off" is both dumb and hilarious.
Yeah, but that's the first time I phrased it as a question. You want him to stroke off, and I'm like, oh, that sounded horrible.
Move along. I asked you to be mature about this episode, please.
Oh yeah, because you've been the height of maturity this entire time.
So is that it? Like, I guess the guy blows himself up in the tube.
Yeah, we mentioned that, but that's pretty much it. Yeah. So.
Yeah, pretty good episode though. I liked it.
Yeah. The final moments, Garibaldi's saying he's going to be involved with this team that are going after Sheridan. So we'll see how that develops. But yeah. Honestly, it was a quieter episode. It was a lot of funny stuff. Obviously, not all of it was funny. The Garibaldi stuff wasn't funny, but.
Well, I like the acting in those moments though between Garibaldi and Sheridan.
I specifically liked actually Sheridan pointing out that okay, you're a civilian now technically, but you did have a position of authority here, and you were.
Yeah, you can't just say things. Yeah.
You were involved in a lot of secrets. You were involved in a lot of conversation and deals. Like, you can't just come out and say stuff now because people will take it more seriously because of what your position was. So, like, he had a good reason for like saying like, no, you can't just be publicly saying a bunch of shit now just because you're not.
Yeah, and also like, if you have a problem with me, fine, we don't have to be friends, but like, stop sabotaging the station and everybody else that you like here.
Yeah. So, no, enjoyable setup episode with a lot of little nuggets that I thought were quite intriguing. So, good stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, let us know what you thought of this one in the comments below. You can like, subscribe, ding the bell for notifications, all that stuff. It helps us out a lot if you do. But of course, you can also support us over in Patreon. So if you just tell them about Patreon, Tara. I was going to try and fit stroke off into the sentence, but it wasn't happening.
That's right, Peter. If you enjoy this episode and our reviews, please check out our Patreon page. It's patreon.com/MildFuzzTV. And if you donate as low as $1 per month, you'll get access to bonus episodes for other shows we do. We discuss science fiction movies. And if you donate $5 per month, you will get access to these episodes 6 days early. And some other shows you get early too. So head on over, check that out. And we love all our patrons.
Except that one. You know who you are. So yes, that about does it. So
I love all of them.
No, she doesn't. You should hear what she says when she's not on camera. I have never heard such filthy language, and just the cursing, the threats.
Stroke off.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. We'll see you next time. Keep watching Babylon 5. And just don't give away the home world.